especially since, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him.
Responsible for the performance-enhancing drugs that are being used by fighters that fought in his gym. Specifically, off the top of my head, you have Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez had popped for clenbuterol.
And Canelo, man, I don't know if he's cheating.
What do you mean?
I feel like Canelo juices.
Boxing insiders are calling out Canelo Alvarez for alleged steroid use ahead of his showdown with Terence Crawford, pointing to a sudden muscle surge and history of failed PED tests. David Benavidez has joined the chorus, questioning why Canelo refuses to face him if he's truly confident. Benavidez also reminds fans that 5 members of Canelo's own team have tested positive for banned substances, claiming the entire camp is dirty, from the trainers to Canelo himself, adding serious weight to the growing accusations surrounding the fight.
Mexican boxing fights of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm 100% confident in myself. If Canelo was 100% confident in himself, I don't know why he wouldn't fight me, especially since, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him. So he never got off
You think
steroids.
he's on steroids?
Of course. Sure. How does 5?
You saw De La Hoya
How do 5 people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids? Right. You know what I mean? No, all those fucking dudes in that camp are dirty.
I seen Eddie Reynoso on my fight, so we made a joke. He said like he came to watch me the fight and shit. And then they're like, "Oh, you think he's?" In my head, I'm like, "What do you think Eddie Reynoso's thinking about?" He's like, "Are we gonna fight David Benavidez after seeing this fight?" In his head, Eddie Reynoso's like, "Fuck no, we're not fighting him."
Yeah, of course. Yeah, honestly, I don't blame Canelo. It's fucked up because there's a lot of money.
It's not even about the money. It's not about the money.
Yeah, but okay, 100 million, dude. You think you kidding
me?
The
first step when you're a fucking warrior, bro, the only thing you think about is glory. I've never thought about money. I've been smart. I'm negotiating my shit, but it's always a prize, bro. It's always, if I go out there and beat Canelo, bro, I'm a legend. You know what I mean? That I'm gonna live forever in boxing as a legend. That means way more to me than any type of money.
Yeah, and I think that separates you too, David. And I admire that shit about you. I was like that at one point. Now how much you giving me?
Yeah.
and not to just bypass him. Shout out to Morel as well.
Yeah, shout out to Morel.
Eddie Reynoso's gym is facing heavy scrutiny, with critics accusing the celebrated trainer of personally supplying performance-enhancing drugs to his fighters. That list allegedly includes Canelo Alvarez, who has twice been linked to steroid scandals. The pattern is raising eyebrows. Multiple boxers from the same camp have tested positive over the years. Now, as Canelo prepares to meet Terence Crawford, observers can't help but question how he continues to pack on muscle at such an unusual pace.
Serious accusations about his gym. And the accusations are that people, or at least the implications are, that he is the one that is providing performance-enhancing drugs or is in some way responsible for the performance-enhancing drugs that are being used by fighters that fought in his gym. Specifically, off the top of my head, you have Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez had popped for clenbuterol 2 times. For Fahim Satur, I'll say that he did it 2 times, even though I think it was for the same fight. But Canelo Alvarez popped dirty for clenbuterol 2 times. You have Luis Nery, who had tested positive, but I think Luis Nery tested positive before he was with Eddie Reynoso. Then you have Ryan Garcia, who popped dirty after he left Eddie Reynoso and went over to Derek James. And then you have Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez popped dirty while he was with Eddie Reynoso, but at the time he was still allowed to fight. You also clearly see that you have an issue with the fight that's coming up with Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, in that you have one guy that tested positive and you have another guy that looks like he's using in order to get up and continue to climb up weight classes. You know, at a certain point in time, and this is something that Rolly Romero had said, certain point in time, your body just doesn't do that. At a certain point in time, your body just doesn't do it. I'm 6'2", 200, and should weigh about 210. Closer to 250, but I should weigh about 210. I'm not going to get up. If I was 210 now at 50 years old, I'm not. If by 55 years old, I'm not. The only way I'm going to get up to 260 of muscle is if I'm juicing.
Veteran fight analysts note that gaining massive muscle naturally in your 30s is nearly impossible. Yet Canelo's physique is now noticeably larger than in previous bouts. Combined with Reynoso's gym's tainted history, the transformation has only fueled more suspicion. Fans and experts alike are asking the same question. Is this the result of clean training, or just another case of PEDs quietly rewriting the outcome of boxing's biggest night?
For a 30-year-old, right? You remember, your body grows. Men's body can grow in height and length up until to the extreme in your 20s. By the time you're 20, your height and all that stuff is there, right? Your height and your length. In your mid-20s, by the time you're 29, your musculature is pretty much there. It gets harder to gain and put on muscle after 30. So Canelo Alvarez is about to fight a guy that is going to put on 20 pounds of muscle.
Joe Rogan's take on Canelo Alvarez has ignited serious debate in the boxing world. As a veteran voice on combat sports and elite conditioning, Rogan didn't mince words. Bulking up this dramatically in your 30s isn't just unusual, it's biologically improbable. He reminded listeners that natural muscle growth slows sharply with age, yet Canelo appears to be moving in the opposite direction. For Rogan, this isn't just a hunch, it's science. And when someone with Rogan's reach and credibility says such a transformation is nearly impossible without help, people take notice.
And Canelo, man, I don't know if he's cheating.
What do you mean?
I feel like Canelo juices. But I'm a Triple G fan, so I'm a say that ahead of time. I just like Triple G.
There's a lot of money on the line, and if I could get away with it, I would do it as well.
Some tainted beefs.
I think, he definitely got busted once for something. But it could have been from tainted beef. We don't know. But it also could be that, we should probably leave them the alone and let them do whatever they want to do. Do you want to see Manny Pacquiao fight or not? Right? I want to see him juiced up, fighting at 45 years of age, coming in with a full six-pack, lighting people on fire.
With the Canelo versus Terence Crawford fight fast approaching, whispers of steroid use are turning into open conversation. Fans and analysts alike admit they wouldn't be surprised if Canelo was tapping into performance-enhancing drugs. The logic is simple. He has access to the best gyms, nutritionists, doctors, and recovery systems money can buy. And in an environment where resources are limitless and the pressure to remain on top is relentless, the temptation to take shortcuts grows stronger. Critics say that Canelo's position gives him every chance to use banned substances without immediate...
What up, everybody? It's your boy MC from MCTV. I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo Alvarez is on steroids right now as we speak and is going to be fully juiced with something that hasn't even hit the market yet. Think about it. He's pretty much a billionaire. He has...
Floyd Mayweather has never been shy about calling out Canelo Alvarez, and steroids have long been one of his favorite talking points. He said outright that too many people are afraid to address the issue, and that boxing operates on a double standard, one where certain stars, like Canelo, get a free pass while others are heavily scrutinized. In Floyd's view, promoters, networks, and fans avoid questioning Canelo because of his marketability. But Mayweather is clear. Steroid use isn't just about gaining an edge. It's dangerous, it cheats the game, and it erodes the integrity of the sport.
But what we don't talk about is, Canelo. Steroids. They don't talk about that. So we don't know. We really don't know all the fighters he beat. He could have been not clean in a lot of fights.
In the heated build-up to Canelo versus Crawford, the steroid talk hasn't just come from analysts. It's erupted among fans. Supporters on both sides are trading PED accusations like punches in a pre-fight brawl. Crawford's camp points to Canelo's size and punching power, while Canelo's defenders question Crawford's stamina and physical transformation at a higher weight class. The tension has reached a point where both fighters agreed to undergo extensive drug testing before the bout. This isn't just for the commission, it's to reassure the public. The fact that both camps felt pressured to publicly prove their clean speaks volumes about the current level of mistrust in boxing.
Canelo and Crawford are strictly and consistently doing random VADA testing in order to silence each other's fanbase and their critics ahead of their showdown this September. Now, despite this being a normal thing, the gravity of this fight brings in more attention to their test results, partly due to the fact that suspicion regarding both men have been up as of lately, namely Crawford Crawford's sudden bulk and jump to 168 and his close relationship with Snack and Victor Conti, and of course the recent PED scandals being associated with Team Canelo, as well as him once testing positive for clenbuterol 7 years ago due to contaminated meat. With that said, both men have been doing random testing since June and will undergo strict and consistent random tests up until they finally meet next month. Now it's worth remembering that despite all the recent allegations for Canelo and Crawford, both fighters have been
Canelo Alvarez didn't always look like the powerhouse we see today. Early in his career, he was smaller, faster, and fought like a true welterweight. Over the years, his transformation has been striking. He's not only fighting bigger opponents, he's overpowering them. That evolution has sparked constant speculation about how he bulked up so effectively, especially at his age and under the sport's grueling demands. Some credit elite training and discipline. Others remain unconvinced, seeing the change as just another reason to question whether it's all natural.
I think you gotta lean more towards Canelo because, like I said before, he been putting big guys out and down. And Canelo not even really a 68-pounder. He probably really should be at 60, maybe. And he been hurting these guys. I think he be dropping these guys and things like that. So, and them guys be way bigger than him come fight night. I know that for sure. They be probably close to 200 pounds, and he dropping those guys like that. So, I don't know. It's gonna be a great fight. The fans want to see it. So, so be it. I think Crawford should take a warm up fight. At like 60 or like at least at 60, just to get his body, to feeling of somebody a little bit bigger. And things like that. I know when you go up a weight, you gotta develop that power and not develop the power, but like put that muscle on and be heavier and things like that. So he might not want to take a fight because he's trying to build up right now. But I think he should just to stay sharp and that way he don't have like a long layoff or anything.
Nico Ali Walsh, grandson of Muhammad Ali and a fast-rising name in boxing, offered insight into how Terence Crawford is preparing for Canelo's size and power. Walsh insists Crawford isn't walking in blind. He's been sparring with much bigger fighters to get used to the kind of pressure Canelo brings. For Walsh, it's not just bravery, it's strategy. He believes the best fighters turn disadvantages into opportunities, and Crawford's camp is doing exactly that. By tailoring training to mimic Canelo's strengths, they're ensuring that nothing on fight night catches him off guard.
Canelo before Canelo's last fight, but then after Canelo's last fight, it seems like it's more 50-50 now. So everything is just the build-up for that fight is just going to be absolutely magnetizing. Like that fight, it's garnered so much more buzz after Canelo's last fight, and Bud is Bud. He's one of the greatest fighters in boxing history. He is one of the greatest fighters in boxing history. So it's going to be a fight. It's going to be awesome to watch.
Have you sparred any of them?
I haven't sparred Bud yet. I haven't been in Canelo's camp. I've met Canelo a few times. I love Canelo's team. Canelo's one of my favorite fighters. He's been my favorite fighter for the longest time. But I have to be Team Bud because me and Bud are cool, and I have so much belief in Bud, and I know who he is as a fighter. He is one of the greats. So he could do anything he wants.
And being around both of them and seeing how they work and train and things like that, what makes both of them the fighters they are, in your opinion?
I've watched Bud, so for Bud in particular, he's calm in everything he does, and that kind of calm is scary to watch because it shows experience. You can see that he's been doing this for decades. You can see it with his shadow boxing. You can see it.
Respected boxing journalist Dan Raphael broke down why Terence Crawford is taking this fight, and it's not for a payday. For Crawford, it's about chasing history. Raphael explains that Crawford doesn't just want to be remembered as a champion, but as a legend willing to take the biggest risks. This matchup isn't about safety, it's about legacy. Still, Raphael is clear about the challenge ahead. Beating Canelo will demand more than just skill. It will require near perfection. In a fight like this, every mistake could be fatal. From ring IQ to physical toughness, Crawford will have to be flawless.